I saw him as he was leaving the building, and we had an opportunity to chat for a couple minutes, and he's so appreciative of the energy and the passion. You know, all of the fans that came dressed up as their favorite characters. He was really impressed. He was really, really happy with what he saw, which was, you know, for us, right, we work so hard on these events. For us to be able to do that and to let him see how much his work is appreciated is really fun.
And especially how much the past work has meant to people as well. Because you like Smash, you have a relationship built up with this game and with these characters, and it's nice to see that so many people have spent, you know, years working with this game with all these other different iterations, and now they have a brand new one, and it's portable as well now, which is great for me because I spend a lot of time playing while I'm just, you know, on the road somewhere, I'm in and out, or I have a few minutes like between meetings or something, and it's like, okay, I can sneak a bit in, I can get a little bit of practice in before I have to jump back out.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great to see Mr. Sakurai last night. I mean, he was glowing. He was really glowing on that stage. And, you know, another great legendary dev we got to talk to yesterday was Mr. Ayanuma came by. And, you know, he spoke of Hyrule Warriors. And, you know, he was really excited about this, the sort of meshing of the Zelda franchise with the Dynasty Warriors. And, you know, bringing two things together is one thing. But to see it really create its own unique thing, have its own identity in and of itself, I mean, it's really fun to see.
One of the things that's really fun for me is in the moments in between interviews that I have in our own little area, I get the chance to jump in on different games. And Hyrule Warriors is one of those that I had played a little bit, but I really hadn't spent a lot of dedicated time on. So today I made it my mission to spend a lot of quality time on that game and to see how it plays, to have fun with it, play as some of the other characters that we have up in our press area. And I'll tell you, for me, that's a great game. Yeah. That's a game that I'm looking forward to, that I'll be playing right when it launches.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to hear, just chatting with folks who've been on the show floor more over the course of today and yesterday, Link and Zelda are getting pretty even play. It's awesome that people are so into both of those characters. That's not like, oh, you know, one of those characters isn't as fun. There's definitely folks and then coming back to play the other character and seeing how different the experience is, because they have different moves, they have different weapons, and the game really plays differently as you come in that way.
I think it strikes a chord. I think for so many of the passionate Zelda players, right, for the whole series, the opportunity to play as Zelda, I think is something that people have wanted to do, right, absolutely. For a long time. Yeah. And now to have access to doing that, I think it's feeding a need by so many in the Zelda community that is really cool to see.
Yeah, we had Pranger was on earlier yesterday, and he was showing off the mid and the levels, and you could, you know, we had some people around here watching us, and you could almost sense the like, you know, that's something that I don't think people ever thought was going to be possible in any form, and so to be able to have that, not only Zelda, to have these other characters, you know, characters we're not even talking about yet, characters we don't even know about yet, coming from the mind of Tecmo Koei's developers and Mr. Ayanuma, I think is, I mean, I'm amped for it.
It's fantastic. So I got to share a disappointment.
What do you got?
I got a disappointment with what we're doing here at Treehouse Live. We're not giving enough love to Tamagotchi Life.
No.
I got mine over on my 3DS.
Here is a game that just launched that, you know, for everyone else, any other company, they'd be touting it as, boy, this is our great new content. Right. And for us, it's like, yeah, it's a great game. We launched it 3 days ago, and we're moving on. So I'll tell you, I got my 3DS as I walk around. I'm collecting Miis. Right. Anything I see that's interesting, I'm putting into an apartment. Right. I'm going to be playing with that.
Yeah.
So that's a game I know that I'm going to be spending a lot of time with over the next number of days and months.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it.
A lot of us, before we came down, we grabbed Tamagotchi Life and got it set up on our system. So there's quite a few Treehousers walking around our booth as well who have their Tamagotchi Life situation all set up. Their apartments are ready to go. So this is a great opportunity to just collect a lot of new folks.
It really is. That's what I'm doing. So anyone who has any interesting Miis, I'll be tracking you down.
Yeah, I was super amped. I thought I wasn't going to be able to pick up a copy before we came down here, and I ended up having someone, like, pick one up for me, and they handed it to me at, like, 5:45 before while we were heading to the airport. And I was like, thank you so much.
That's great.
Reggie, thank you so much again for stopping
Absolutely.
by.
Thanks for having me on.
This is great. This is great. We got coming up next, we have today's deep dive into some Splatoon. This is one of my favorite games that we're showing here. I'm super excited. Sam, Reggie, we've got the developers for Splatoon here as well. So
all right, we're going to do a little squid action.
Yes.
Got a little squid action going.
It's going to be awesome. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, get ready, guys. All right. All right.
Okay.
We are live.
We are live.
Hey, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. Nate is back up on the Splatoon deck, but with some very, very special guests. I'm here with Rob Tunstall, who will be translating for
Hi.
development staff,
These
Mr.
guys.
Nogami, Mr. Sakaguchi, and Mr. Sato. And I was hoping, just to start off, maybe you guys could talk a little bit about your roles in the game, and then maybe just a little bit about the game itself for those people who haven't already tuned in to Splatoon.
Hello, my name is Nogami. I'm producer of Splatoon.
Hi, I'm Sakaguchi, director. Hi, I'm Sato, lead programmer.
はい。じゃあ、簡単にこのゲームを説明しますと、このゲームは4対4の2つのチームに分かれて、インクを発射して陣地を塗って、その陣地の広さで勝敗を決するっていうゲームです。
So if I were to explain this game simply, I'd say that it's a game where you compete in 2 4-on-4 teams, spraying ink around, trying to cover as much territory as possible, and the team that covers the most territory wins.
Yes, that's it. But, well, why don't we get into some details about it? I think, and you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the best way to do this is I'll just jump in, do a really brief tutorial on how the controls work, and then maybe we could turn it over to somebody a little bit more competent, like maybe Mr. Sato after that. Yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so this will probably be pretty familiar to anybody who's been tuning into this stream from early on because they can't get me off this station. I tend to come up here and hang out next to Splatoon a lot. But for anybody who hasn't seen the other streams, let me just really briefly go over how this works. So gamepad is your map. It shows you in real time where the ink is, and when you come up, you basically want to just start spraying ink everywhere. Very simple controls. You move around with the L stick, move your view around with the R stick, and this is the most important button you have, the R trigger. Spray everywhere. Now, note that with the L button, I go down and I turn into ink form. You don't see me in the ink, but check this out. All right, that's me in squid form. Obviously, I'm very, very visible. I need a little bit of cover. And here, I move much faster. So we talked about the controlling turf. The most important bit of this is not only spraying the ground so that you can control it, and as you can see on the lower screen, controlling the map to win, but also it makes your movement around the map much easier when you're squidding. All right. I'm gonna cruise up here. Now, normally there'd be people mobbing this area, but I've told everybody to stand down because otherwise I'm just gonna get murdered out here. Cruise around. You can see, look at my mobility when I'm a squid. All right. Super weapon as you load it up. Oh, and actually, I think my gyro controls are off. I'm trying to show some, hey, can you switch to gyro on the fly? Yeah.
左上のボタンを押すと切り替えることができます。
That button in the top left,
This one?
you should be able to switch it.
All right.
There you go.
Motion controls on. So this, as you can see, if you don't want to play with motion controls, you don't have to. But I gotta say, and I don't know if you guys could tell when I was just doing that, I kind of sucked at it. And to be honest, I really need the fine control of the gyro. Just slight wrist motions are making me move this thing around. And when you're spraying ink, it is all the difference in the world. You're not doing the sort of herky-jerky movements of just using the right stick. But then again, you know, there may be some people out there who just don't want to move their wrists around and they're going to use only motion controls. All right, let me get up here. R button throws out splatter bombs. That uses up a lot of ink, and I just threw it in the worst possible place because that is non-splatterable floor. You can paint the walls. This helps you climb up, and you can actually hide up there for a second. That does not count to your total, so if you're actually just trying to claim territory, it really doesn't help. All right. I'm gonna try to do my little skateboard ollie here. X button makes you jump. You can obviously do that when you're in squid form or in inkling form. These little guys, we're calling them inklings. Super cute. All right. Also, another benefit of being a squid is that you can move through grates. Vertical grates, grates that are on the ground. It's the only way that you can get through it is by splattering the ground with more and more ink. All right. All right, I'm clearly not going to be competent enough at this. So, for an actual round, I want to bring in Mr. Sato, who I believe is pretty unmatched in the Splatoon world.
Mr.
Yeah. Sato-san?
Mr. Sato is the best player in the world
Yes.
currently.
Yes.
Well, he says he was until Monday, but maybe not anymore.
So Mr. Sato is going to be probably showing us some pretty advanced moves that we can comment as we're going on. But as we do, I also want to just take the opportunity. We don't have that much time with these guys. I want to pick their brains a little bit about stuff that I certainly wasn't able to get into when we were talking about it earlier. First of all, I want to hear about how they were inspired to create these characters and this game mode.
すごく理由は単純なんですけども、インクを出すからイカです。
I mean, the main reason is actually just very, very simple. I mean, they shoot ink, so we thought they should be squids.
でも理由はそれだけではなくて、インクの中に隠れて素早く動いたりとか、このインクの中をどこまでも泳いでいけるので、こういう性能がイカというキャラクターとすごくマッチしていると考えています。
But there's more to it than that. I mean, just the fact that, they're able to swim very quickly throughout the ink and they're able to, traverse a great deal of ground through it quickly. All of those kind of abilities that we gave to the player really matched the idea of having the characters be squids.
あと小さいところで言えば、なぜタコでないかというと、マップのアイコンがイカだと矢印で分かりやすいんです。
And this is a small point, but someone might ask, well, why aren't they octopuses? Well, squids have a nice arrow shape, so when you see the icon on the map, you can tell what direction they're going in.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. I mean, one of the things that I was talking about yesterday that I love about this game is that the squid aesthetic is everywhere. What you just talked about with the arrow, but also like the little tentacle shapes on the loading screen. I really love how they've carried it all the way through. Yeah, that's right.
And he's got some on his shirt.
Where are we giving? Oh
プレイ
man.
するまではなんでイカなんだろうってみんな思うと思うんですが、一度プレイしてもらえたら、お、これはもうイカしかないとみんなに思ってもらえると思います。
Yeah. I mean, I think before people play this game, they're probably thinking, why are they squids? But I think anytime someone actually picks up this game and plays it, they realize, oh, squids, it has to be
Yeah,
squids.
of course. And we just
ロ
saw.
ケ
Oh
ットを
yeah.
噴射して飛び出すっていう動きもイカならではだと思います。
Yeah, and I think you just saw him do a big kind of squid jump, that kind of rocket shape, and I think that also, that's something that only really fits with a squid design.
Yeah, yeah.
僕はこんなイカ見たことないですけど、
I mean, I haven't actually ever seen a squid exactly like that in real life, but still.
I bet they do that underwater, and when they shoot their ink out, it kind of propels them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they probably wouldn't get as much vertical height out of the water, but
Maybe.
We'll suspend our disbelief. That is an important point, though. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but the launching mechanic, where you can launch right up to where your friends are, or launch back to base at any given time, is really, really crucial in this game, especially as you're watching in real time on your map. What's going on with the game balance, where the ink is being spread. Oh.
だからスーパージャンプはクイズみたいなものと考えてください。
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of think about how to use the super jump as kind of a little bit of a quiz.
敵の色のところに仲間はいるけど、向こうの方にいる敵の色の上の仲間に行くか、そんなに向こう側でない自分の陣地の近くだけど自分の色で安全なところの仲間に行くか、あなたはどっちに行きますか？
Yeah, it's kind of like you look at the map and you'll see you've got, okay, I got one friend who's kind of... Oh, they lost. But you might look at the map and you see you got one friend who's kind of in enemy territories where there's a lot of enemy ink. You got another friend who's somewhere where there's a lot of your own color ink. Maybe you got another friend where there's not much ink on the ground, and you got to think, which place should I go? It kind of works as like a quick little quiz. You got to make a decision right away.
Yeah, I've made a wrong decision many times where I jump to the front lines.
でも例えば残り10秒だったら違いますよね。
Yeah, but the whole thing changes if, for example, there's only like 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
でそういう風にその DRC のタッチパネル、ゲームパッドのタッチパネルにリアルタイムに塗りが更新されて、すぐにタッチして自分の決断が良かったのか良くなかったのかフィードバックを得られるっていうところがこのゲームの面白さをダイレクトに使える要素だと思っています。
And I think, that's something that really gets across very directly what's fun about this game, because you have that constantly changing information, and because that squid jump is such a direct action, you get like instant feedback on whether you made a bad decision or a good decision.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
you know right away.
Yeah.
こういうのを難しい言葉で戦略って言うと思うんですけども、 次に例えば1回敵にやられてリスポーン地点に戻された時に次にどういう行動を取ろうっていうのを自然に考えるのがこのゲームの楽しいところだと思っています。
And I think another thing that's great about this game is like, we can talk about it in this detail and use kind of like, talk about it as if it's kind of a very difficult thing. But just that whole action of like, when you get defeated, going back to your base and then looking at the map and making that decision, it all just feels very, very natural.
Yeah.
もうカッコつけて喋ってるんですけど、実際やるときは
I mean, we're kind of acting kind of cool about when we talk, but like when we actually play it, we get into it. We're just pounding on the screen trying to get to where we want to go.
Thankfully, we make very durable gamepads, so. Yeah, you can hammer on as hard as you want. I agree, and something just to piggyback on that. What's awesome about this game is there's not a complicated interface where you're looking at percent. There's no numbers showing you the percent of the map that's getting covered. All you're seeing is this very visual, like this is where the ink is. 2 colors. You have to instantly analyze that and see exactly where you are in the match and what has to be done.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Something we didn't get. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
先らの判断をするときに一瞬で情報が認識できるっていうのはすごく大事だと思います。
Yeah, and I think when you're making decisions like that, the ability to understand, how the battle is developing just at a glance becomes super, super important.
Yeah. This little thing, we didn't point this out yesterday, but that little spiral that goes around your player, what does that mean?
あれは仲間が自分をタッチして飛んできてくれる時のサインです。
That's a sign that someone has touched you on the gamepad and they're coming flying to your location.
And is that identified, it said player 8 on that, means player 8 is coming, okay.
Yeah.
Player 8 is coming to your rescue.
前線に自分一人だけでみんなやられちゃった時に隠れて潜んでいると、その時にサインが出ると、仲間が来てくれるって言ってすごく嬉しくなります。
So let's say everyone else on your team is defeated. You're right up at the front lines. You're hiding in your own little patch of ink. That sign starts spinning around you. You realize, oh, all my friends are coming.
About to get...
You start to feel really good.
Surrounded by enemies. That's right.
Yeah.
I haven't even been paying attention. Are they winning? How are they doing? Oh, that's actually a pretty tight match. Yeah, this is going to come down to it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
すごく楽しいんです。
There you go.
That little moment right before they go, that's the best part.
I have to say, we've gotten a lot of questions about this cat. Who is this cat?
Top secret.
Oh, that's the top secret cat.
Do you need that translated, Nate?
No, I got that.
Okay.
I got that. My Japanese is getting really good.
Yeah, you're doing great, Nate.
Oh, this actually, now that we're panning over this reminds me of another thing I wanted to ask. The environments in this, it's for Nintendo games, we're used to seeing really sort of happy-go-lucky mushrooms with faces and clouds and stuff. These are, I don't want to call it a gritty environment, but it's a very sort of urban environment. Was that a conscious, choice on their part because you're splattering ink?
Well, このインクを塗るっていう遊び自体が、簡単に言うと結構いたずらっぽい遊びだと思っています。
I mean, just that kind of act of like spraying the ink around, it's kind of a little bit like, like graffiti or like vandalism,
that's what I was saying.
right? A little bit.
街中のこの一角をもう好きなようにペンキを打ちまけていいよって言ったらもうみんな喜んで打ちまける。
I mean, like if someone just came up to you in the street and was just like, "Hey, you can take this paint and throw it around however you like."
It would be kind of awesome.
I think everyone would like to do that.
Sanctioned vandalism. That's.
そういう手応えを出すためにはやっぱり自分たちがある程度見慣れた風景を塗ってる方がすごく手応えが出ると思ってこういう背景です。
And so to bring about that same kind of feeling, we thought, well, we should probably make this some kind of setting that looks at least a little bit more familiar or more real.
Yeah, it does. I every time I watch it, I see some other little detail, like there's little like chalk drawings of like kind of squids on the walls or like little logos everywhere. It's just very well realized.
Yeah.
この世界の人はきっとそういうことが大好きなんだと思います。
Yeah, I think we think, definitely the people who inhabit this world, these guys, they definitely love what they're doing.
ちなみにこのインクは多分3分ぐらい経ったら全部消えてしまうインクです。
But for whatever reason, this is like special ink, I guess, that just disappears after 3 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very environmentally friendly.
That's good. That's important. Hey, so I actually had a question about this yesterday. That little 16p. So obviously people are getting judged on their points at the end of all this. How exactly are the points getting accrued? And like when somebody splatters right in front of you, what determines whether or not that's 9 or 16 or 20? I mean,
あれは敵を倒したポイントではなくて敵をやっつけたことによって結果床が塗られたポイントなんです。なのでもともと自分の色の上の敵をやっつけてもポイントはあまり入らないです。
So those points you get are not directly points that you get for defeating an enemy. It's actually because when you defeat an enemy, they explode in your own ink color. So, you know, the amount of ground that was either newly painted or painted over.
Oh, that's what that number is.
So for that reason, if you defeat someone on your own ink color, it doesn't really have an effect. You don't really get
Put
any
on
points.
there. Okay.
どれだけこの床を塗ったかっていうのが全ての基準です。
So really, it all just comes back to how much of the ground did you cover in ink.
You can see here, Mr. Sato just jumped back to his base and is now just taking care of homekeeping. Well, that's, so that was a lot of points. Super weapon.
世界ナンバーワンなんですかね、彼は。
I wonder if he really is the world #1 anymore. Oh
みん
dear.
な上手くなってきてますね、E3。
Yeah, everyone here at E3 is really starting to get
Oh,
really
they still
good.
got it. What's up? Win bonus.
音楽に関してなんですけ
お
ど、これ
yes,
は
carrying it.
この世界の人たちが若者が聴いてるポップミュージックなんです。
So I want to talk a little about the music you're hearing, but the way we think about it, you know, the music in this game is basically the popular music of that game world. That's what these Squid Kids
What the
listen
squid?
to.
Hey, I actually noticed some of them have headphones on, so they're probably jamming out to that. Yeah.
だからこれ放送を見てる人には音楽 BGM って聞こえるんですかね。
And I wonder if the people at home, can they hear the music?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that their audio feed ought to be showing it.
トレーラーのミュージックもそうなんですけど、すごくみんな気に入ってくれてて、僕らも喜んでます。
I mean, this is true for the trailer music as well, but it seems like everyone's having a really great reaction to it. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're really, really happy.
Yeah, I think we've used the upbeat music, I think, in the trailer, and that's mostly what you see here because everyone jumps right into the game. But the loading screen music while you're waiting for players to join is actually my favorite. It's sort of this like laid-back reggae beat. Yeah.
マッチング画面のですね。
Yeah.
The matching screen, right?
Yeah. And they're just sitting waiting at home, ready for the match to start, you know, chilling with some reggae.
この、そのトレーラーとかで入ってるその掛け声はその任天堂のこのスプラトゥーンの女性スタッフがみんなでこう出した声でそれをサンプリングして使っています。
Oh, and you probably heard in the trailer music the voices yelling the title, Splatoon.
Yeah.
But that's actually the female members of the development staff. That's their voices.
All cheering? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
声も一個二個男の声もちょっと混じってますけど。
Oh, and well, there's a couple of male staff members in there too, I think.
Doing falsetto?
特にインクのべちゃべちゃする音にはめちゃめちゃこだわってサウンドのスタッフが作ってくれてます。
And also the sound staff, they put so much effort into like the wet noises of the ink getting sprayed around.
Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, but it is awesome. You really feel like it's just goopy ink spraying everywhere.
スライムをこう叩きつけた音を使ってます。
Did you do experiments?
So we created that sound we just got some slime and then we just like pounded it. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's research. Hey, research,
Yeah.
we gotta buy some slime.
それぐらいこのインクを塗るっていうこのアクションの手応えにこだわってるんですよ。
Yeah, that's just how, you know, particular we've been about making sure that spraying ink feels good.
Yeah, well, it definitely
こ
does.
うデコボコして見えると思うんですけども、これ一回塗ったところでももう一回塗るとまたデコボコが変わるんですよ。
Okay, and you can probably see that the ink is kind of bumpy. It's got a texture, but
Yeah.
depending on if it's like the first time that place has been inked or if it's like been inked
Well-
over from a different color, it changes.
でさらにこう塗ったインクの中
Oh,
を
it
イカ
gets,
に
oh,
な
it's more of
っ
it?
てで塗ったインクの中をイカになって進むとその跡が残ります。
And you'll notice that you actually leave a little bit of a trail if you swim through it.
Oh, wow.
今作ってる製品版ではね、もっと良くなってますよ。
Yeah, and that's all going to look better in the final product.
Even better than that? Man, that already looks really good.
こういったようにサウンドのスタッフとかグラフィックのスタッフがとにかくこだわってこのアクションを気持ちよくしようと頑張ってますのですごくいいものになっていると思っています。
I think it's all very much thanks to, you know, the sound staff and the graphics staff. They're very focused on making sure that all of the actions just feel and look really, really great.
Yeah. Splatter. Hey, speaking, we were talking about the trailer earlier, and I actually wanted, we demoed a lot of this game yesterday because I'm in love with it, but since we have these guys here, I thought maybe we could pick their brain really quick about some details from the trailer that I have no idea what the answers are. So could they elaborate? We saw some different weapons in the trailer that we're not seeing here on the show floor. One was like there's like a giant paint roller or something, and it seemed like there were a couple other weapons. Can you talk a little bit about what they are or how they factor into the game?
今はみんな同じ武器を使ってるんですけど、ローラーみたいにこう床を近くをたくさん塗れる武器だったり、こうチャージして撃つ遠くを狙えるような武器、いろいろ用意しています。
Yeah, so right now in the game we're playing, everyone's kind of using the same weapons, but we're also thinking of like this kind of big roller, kind of close quarters weapon that'll like spread a lot of ink around, and then a charge shot kind of weapon that can be used kind of like sniper. You know, it's for aiming for far off.
That's
people.
me. That's me.
プレイヤーはその日のステージと自分の取りたい戦略に合わせて武器を選べます。
And we hope people will like, select the weapons they want to use based on one, the map they're playing, but also the strategy that they want to take.
So is it that you select the weapon beforehand and then go in, or you find the weapon in the actual map?
Yeah, you select it first.
So you'll be like a sniper class or something like that. Oh, that's going to change the strategy quite a bit. We also saw a lot of different maps on the trailer, though, other than we're seeing here. Every time I saw one, I'm just like already analyzing like high ground and choke points, and like I need strategy. Oh. Yeah.
トレーラーには4つマップを載せてましたけど、他にもマップはたくさん用意しています。
So there were the 4 maps in the trailer, and then we're also planning on making a lot more.
A lot more.
この中にはイカでこう壁をどこまでも登っていくようなマップであったりとか、すごく高低差があって、このショットってこう重力で落ちるんで、それを生かした戦いができるようなマップも用意しています。
Yeah, so one idea for, some maps we might make in the future is to have one that's very much based on, using that climbing ability, having lots of different walls. But another we have is the idea of like having a stage that has lots of different differences in elevation because we're shooting ink, it has an arc, like gravity really affects it. So if you have a stage that has lots of high platforms and lots of low areas, that's really going to change how you play that stage.
Yeah.
マップに関しては毎日そのレベルデザインのスタッフがテストして地形を変えてはテストして変えてはテストしてを行っていて日に日に良くなってます。でたまにそのテスト中に本気になりすぎて大声を上げて隣のチームに迷惑をかけてしまったりもあります。
Yeah, so our level design teams are just playtesting the new maps every day over and over, like play them once, remake them, play them again.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get so into it, they just start yelling so much, and actually we get complaints from the development teams next door.
Yeah.
さっき敵がどういう風な動きをしてるとかがマップを見れば分かるって言ったんですけども、このメインの画面を見ててもそれがよく分かります。
And we talked a little bit before about how if you look at the map screen, you can see, what the enemy is doing, but you can also get a good impression of that just from the main screen.
Yeah.
相手の色でここまで塗られてるということは敵が